Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello. Welcome to the show, to this 2023 overview. Got a lot to talk about today, so I invite you to maybe grab a notebook or something to take a few notes. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to talk about the overall energies of the year based on what was channeled in by Spirit. I've got, I'll save that for a minute, but we're going to go over that. Those are like the overarching, overall energies. I'm going to go quarter by quarter. And then we're going to come back in another show and we're going to do a little bit more of a, the physical manifestation of those energies. So I want to do like a manifestation session and energy clearing session, kind of like a goal setting or intention setting for the 2023 year. So we'll do like a big energy clearing to clear out any blocks and obstacles as we bring down the energies that we've just talked about into more physical representations for each one of you individually of what these overarching ones mean. You'll be able to channel those into some specific goals and intentions for yourself, and we'll do that in the second part of this session. But for today, for right now, I'm going to kind of make sure we're all in some juicy sacred space by wrapping us all in love light and light love, and inviting in the guides who overlight this show: Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, and whatever other guides want to join us, want to maybe pop in. And then I'll light some incense. I've got this transformation candle. So this is being recorded as a video, but I also put it up on the podcast. So I may refer to things that you can't necessarily see if you're listening only, so just try to use your master eyes. I think I've always said that before too, like if you want to astral project into the room with me and hang out, you could do that too, and then you could see the candle. So this incense is called Lotus Moon. I just instinctively or intuitively grabbed it. It's balancing, energizing, a I'm going to make, there's new words coming for 2023, mellow tropical fragrance with a hint of citrus and resin. So we're just going to get that going here. While you maybe are grabbing your something to write with. I bet everyone, this is my new favorite, and I don't think I can find it. I love these Triloka. It's Triloka incense. They're really good smells. All right, so let's get that in there. My little makeshift space, because I didn't want to sit on the floor. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over 2023, the overarching theme, and then quarter by quarter, and then we'll draw cards or a card to clarify each one a little bit further. And if you haven't already, I already filmed or recorded a January 2023 show. It's the one right before this. And we talked about the month. We're working with the, I don't exactly know everything about it yet, but it's a premonitory tool, a spiritual tool called the Dawn Key, that we'll all be able to have access to and use to help with karma clearing. But that was a very highly encoded, very very deep, rich, like advanced kind of sounding episode. If you go listen to it, you'll be like, wow, it really sounds very highly charged. But I do invite you. We also created a Pleiadian Power Board there to help with manifestation upgrades to your manifestation capabilities. So that's what was right before this. Let me just get a drink of my drink. In my Lovebirds cup. This is the prototype Lovebirds cup, but there's stuff in the Redbubble shop. We'll be putting some new stuff up for this new year. Okay, so let's just dive right in. So 2023 themes. So when I started just pondering the themes of the year, Spirit had me go to my YouTube music playlist, like my likes playlist, where I've liked, all my songs. And I have 300 or 400 songs in there. And it just had me doing an intuitive scroll. But the one that was playing when I first started thinking about and channeling in the energies for 2023 is the one that they're saying is kind of the overarching theme. So I wanted to so these are all songs that are the themes for the quarters, quarter by quarter. But the biggest overarching thing, I guess, in terms of the theme of the year was like new Lemuria, but like creating pockets of new Lemuria in your own physical location. So it's not like, although I want to go live there one day, it's not like talking about the Hawaiian Islands in terms of new Lemuria. We're talking about creating that Lemurian heaven on earth wherever you are at in your current physical location. So we're going to expand on that topic throughout the year. And it gets very colorful here at TLC for the Soul. And as I was dressing and putting on my clothes, which I wish I could just open the door and walk outside in these right now. But it's very, very cold here. We're trying to dress inside as if we were in a tropical paradise. The crystal that I'll be working with, among a few others that don't like to be seen by the public anymore, they become like private crystals, but this one still does. This is a Lemurian angel aura double, almost triple terminated quartz crystal. It's going to kind of be my 2023 palm stone. The other themes so underneath the umbrella, because I like to kind of mind map things, so to speak. So mind map is like a cloud, right, or a circle or whatever, with other thought forms and stuff branching out from it. And the new Lemuria to me is kind of at the center of the whole thing. And then branching out from that were three other high-level themes: star seeds, of course, a star reborn, and the Garden of Eden reborn, which underneath that, they had me write, so I'm just showing you what I'm writing if you're looking at the video. They had me write the Bringers of the Light under the Garden of Eden reborn. And Bringers of the Light is our shows as TLC for the Souls, specific nomenclature for a light warrior, a light worker, a starseed, a twin flame, a divine counterpart, all of you that are here as highly encoded beings of light, helping out with the new earth ascension process. So those are nothing new, but it feels enhanced in some way, like everything that we've been working on up until now, as always, is continuing to evolve and enhance with new levels of light being available to us, new guides being available to us, new higher level light beings. Now with all of the work that we all have been doing to encode the planet with light and love and goodness, higher level beings of light now are able to reach us and communicate with us like never before. So let's see. Let me start out with the space station number 5 is the overarching song for that goes with New Lemuria. This is a song by Montrose. I'm like dating myself. And I want to just touch on some of the key lyrics of that song. And some of them may mean something to each one of you. There's like a fly. What is a spirit animal with a fly? There's a fly that just flew by, like it flew in front of the camera. Space station number 5. Start with a sun like S-U-N, and move on out. The future is in the skies above. The heavens unfold, and a new star is born, star reborn, space and time making love. Next time around, as far as you want and as close as you need, it's all in your mind, you know. This old earth hasn't really seen its day. It's here. Time to go. Oh, what a time we had living underground. I moved to station number 5 and see you next time around. I remember when it was so clear. We were young, but the memory still remains. To pick a fruit from, this is all New Lemuria, just give me chills. To pick a fruit from a tree, fish from the seas, now nothing's left here but the stains. But I can't cry no more, can only be glad that there's other places we can be. If the time suits you right, I'm leaving tonight. Come fly away with me. Start with a sun and move on out. The future's in the skies above. The heavens unfold and a new star is born. Space and time making love. I don't see when this song was written, but Montrose is an older band. Like, aren't they from the 60s or the 70s? Because that was Sammy Hagar singing that song. That's way back. So to me, this speaks of like the return of the New Lemuria. Like in this song, in a sense, they're kind of like talked about it. And they kind of talked about like, okay, it's not here anymore, so we have to go somewhere else to find it. And I feel like the key there is start with a sun and move on out. The future's in the skies above. The heavens unfold. A new star is born. Space and time making love. I think it talks all about the 5D and the rebirth of the new earth now. But I'm going to grab, for the decks we're using, we're going to use my handmade deck. You know me, I can never remember the name of this deck. I always want to call it Dragons of Lincolnshire. You know what it is. If you've been with me long enough, I don't remember it. But we're also using my deck Pleiadian Power. Holy smokes. Okay, so we get one card for the overall 2023. What goes with space station number 5? Oh, I got this morning. Interesting. Okay, it's Enlightened Rescue Cat. Guards and protects you during times of stress. But to me, that speaks of the same thing, like animals raising in consciousness, people raising in consciousness. When I get this card also, it reminds me of all of my guides that I work with that are in the 5D, that I kind of made into my own. Yes, they're giving me chills on that. That I kind of put in my own little etheric place, like grove, and I made like a whole little etheric world for them to live in if they wanted to. And yes, that's kind of in a sense what this space station number 5 talks about too. It's like, oh, when things are rough, like when things in the 3D aren't what you want them to be, there's other places that you can go and regain your power. And we do that a lot, right? In the journeys that we do, like when we do shamanic journeys and stuff, we always start out in our 3D space and we go journey somewhere in the etheric realms. And so it's almost like they're saying bringing that down, like, oh, like bringing down the etheric realms that you created for yourself. So I call mine Ravendale, but like bringing the beauty and the bounty of all the etheric realms that you like to visit or create for yourself, and bringing those good vibes and stuff down into your physical reality as much as you can. And putting those touchstones and those things around you that remind you of those places. And in doing so, you're creating your own heaven on earth. And when you meditate and when we're doing our grid work and our gate work, we're expanding those vibes and those things outward to Mother Earth Gaia and to all of humanity, to all beings, to all realms, and to all kingdoms. And so it feels like a year very much of rising to new levels of consciousness within ourselves. It's just the continuation of New Earth Now. So it's not a surprise, really, that this is coming out. But start thinking about, as you're making this list, or as you're jotting down any notes, like start thinking about, because I got like the unicorn ring on to start thinking about, like, what does that mean in terms of things you want to physically manifest in your 3D reality? How can you take that concept of New Lemuria, of the Garden of Eden reborn, of you as a bringer of the light, and bring more of that into your physical space? Okay, get a sip of my tea. Room for everything up here. All right, and I've got like the most uncomfortable chair I could possibly be in for this. All right, let's talk about January, February, March. So we already started a little bit deep diving into January in the last show that I did, and it's very advanced. So I feel like we got a lot of upgrades to our soul during the eclipses of the end of last year. Those October, November eclipses and the solstice brought in some spiritual light that we never had access to before. And many of you were upgraded with like new capabilities that you're just now starting to realize that you have. And as such was the Pleiadian Power Board that we created on that show. I also posted a picture of that on the community tab. And if you just look at the picture of it, you're going to kind of be like, oh, that's a board with a card on it. So you have to kind of listen to the end of the January 2023 show to get the full activation of that. Because while they're saying while it's trite in its simplicity, the power behind the activation and the intention setting that was done is what obviously makes it a power board. All right. So for January, February, and March, the song that we got was actually an instrumental. It has no lyrics, which to me kind of, it's very hard opening. I obviously can't play. One day we're gonna do these in a space where we can just play whatever music we want, and we don't have to go by these silly like copyright things. Want to get a platform like that, and you all can come there, and we can actually play the music and be like uplifted by it all. But it's an instrumental called "Anybody There" by Rainbow. So that's also an older band. I actually think that every band that came out on here was, when I say older, I'm talking about like pre 1999, with the exception of one. But If you go listen to that song, again, it's Anybody There by Rainbow. It's an instrumental. It's a very heart-opening guitar solo kind of instrumental. Very, almost like you could meditate to that and choose your reality is what they're saying. And I did get that. So for January, February, and March, it's all like a blank slate. Like, choose the reality you want to be in. Do you want to be in New Earth now? Do you want to be in New Lemuria? This is all setting the stage because there is a very, there's a big activation in January, but there's something even bigger happening in March. I'm not the first way shower to talk about it. And it's some different gate openings in preparation for eclipses and so forth. It's a big ready, set, go. I think the spring equinox has a lot to do with it as well. But let's pull a card on January, February, March. I think obviously it sets the stage for the rest of the entire year. But what do we want to say about January, February, and March? Okay, we got 2 cards. If I need clarifiers, that's when I'm using whatever it's called, Dragons of... Never mind. Labyrinth of Dragonshire. Why can't I remember that? Okay, pronto. So January, and February, and March, in addition to the Anybody There by Rainbow, it sounds too like anybody there, like you're not, yeah, it's the whole concept too, of all of the rest of the quarters of the year. What you'll find here is many of the songs are all about oneness, unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, the ascension process, bringing back the return of the Garden of Eden, which is the new Lemuria, which is all about a community of oneness. But the 2 cards that went along with that are a mermaid with emotions run deep, and there's a dolphin on this card as well. And I said very heart-opening for this song if you choose to listen to it and get that activation, but there's also some sort of a bird flying overhead. I really don't know what it is. There's an anchor and there's a heart with a key. And we have been working with, that does remind me, we're doing the series called 9 here on the show as well. And we've got another show coming up that has to do with the heart key, which will be the second part of that 9 series. And the card that came out with this one, with emotions run deep, is Butterfly Fairy, spreads love and joy through the solar plexus. And they're saying that January and February and March is like a clarion call to doing more of what you love. And so these aren't new messages, you guys. And I think what you're going to find is, like, in terms of seeking into the higher realms of consciousness, like the messages, yeah, I'm getting chills. The messages aren't really going to be all that different. I don't think that there's so many secrets revealed that you haven't really heard already before. It's like we've reached, it's just putting those into practice. Yes, it's putting those into practice that is the key element for continuing to upgrade the earth. So it's not like if I keep meditating, I'm going to find out more and more new things that we haven't already heard before. They're saying there are some, but they're not earth-shattering. It's the surprises and the signs and the serendipities and the synchronicities that lead you through your earthly life as you fulfill your own design, destiny, and soul purpose. Those things are unique to you, but overarchingly, the things that the kind of guidelines to abide by, so to speak, are the, the spiritual truths, the spiritual laws. So like the law of karma, the law of reciprocity, the spiritual truths, the camaraderie of the earth in terms of a unity consciousness and kindness and Christ consciousness and forgiveness. Like, it's kind of the same everywhere else, but with higher levels of light, transfiguring all the darkness, which is why the bringers of the light are here, right? It's why you guys are here. We're here as to transfigure, transmute, and heal the shadow and the darkness, so that more and more each day we are embodying those overarching qualities of oneness, divine love, kindness, the Garden of Eden qualities that were there before the fall from grace. So for the first quarter, it's doing what you love, things that get you excited, things that get your emotions running deep, in terms of like things you really love. That's the concept. So it's going to be what you make it in terms of the instrumental. What are the words? What is the song you want to write that makes your heart sing? That's what we're going to focus on for the first 3 months of the year. April, May, and June. The song that came up there is The Window by Steve Miller Band, which also to me is talking about oneness, but I'm going to read some of the key lyrics there. And you can go look these up yourself too if you want. But the window is, ask my baby what she wants to be. She'll say a monkey swinging in a tree. Ask my baby what she's thinking of. She'll say there's nothing greater than love. Well, look through the window. Tell me, what do you see? A beautiful planet, peace and harmony. Think, love, you're surrounded. We are one, you and I. Gather your leaves together. There's only love until we die. Ask my baby what she's going through. She'll say the same thing as you. Ask my baby what she's thinking of. She'll say there's nothing greater than love. Oh, so good. So, again, I mean, it's just so clear, right? It's just so new, Lemuria. It's so Garden of Eden reborn. It's, you can be whatever you want to be. And I started listening. Oh yeah, I have to give you guys, they want me to go get this name of this book. I started listening to a new audio book by Oprah called The Path Made Clear. And I'm really liking it. It's like she's talking about her, she's talking about how you find your soul purpose, but it's got quotes. It's an audiobook, so it's audio quotes from like all these very successful people. Probably the majority of them, you know, they're very well known in their field, about their take on the soul and soul purpose and soul path. So that's Oprah Winfrey, The Path Made Clear. And I invite you to listen to the audiobook, just because you get each person's like voice coming in with their energy. I thought it was really good. I've only like just started it the other day, but I'm going to have to recommend that one for this year as a motivator. It's a big motivational tool to hear from so many successful people in one place. Like you're just kind of basking in the energies of success, wealth, good health, good karma. Like there's nothing wrong with wanting any of those, which is the be, which goes back to this song, like, what do you want to be? She'll say a monkey swinging in a tree, but you can be whatever you want to be. And there was a quote, and the fire is so high right now in the candle. There was a quote someone said in this book, in this Oprah Winfrey book, that was kind of like, and we've heard this all before, like if you can think it and you can imagine it, then you can accomplish it and you can do it. So there's nothing wrong with wanting wealth, good health, having good karma, wanting better things for yourself. Like just because you're on a spiritual path, I think it was Master Co that said, if someone says being on a spiritual path means you can't, be rich and famous or have money or have any of those things, then there's some past life clearing that needs to be done there around, vows of poverty or vows of whatever, that were taken in past lives. So there is nothing wrong with wanting to have, the best of the best for yourself as much as you feel like you're deserving of. So let's get a card for April, May, and June. I'm trying to keep them in order so I can post them on the community tab, but let's see. So this is The Window by Steve Miller Band. Back to the oneness. Oh, okay. So again, we said each quarter, each month, how do you bring in more of those qualities of new Lemuria, new Earth Now? Oh, look at the smoke. Oh, it's just like wrapping itself around me like a goat. It's definitely coming this way. All right, so for those 3 months, April, May, and June, we got Pink Flower Fairy with a light language, receive, Hashane. And we got Pleiadian Power Message, we want you to know how powerful you are. I think it's just confirmation of everything I just said. Like there's nothing wrong. Like when you're setting these goals for yourself for the year, that's why your guides always are saying like dream big, because if you can dream it and you can become it, then all that's left is to plan and implement and take action on whatever this thing is. Now we're not going to go deeper into some of the other things yet, like the energy clearing that we need to do around these things is what we're going to do in the next session, the part 2 of this 2023. So it looks like there's a lot of receptive energies coming in April, May, and June. So the thing is, let's plan for it now. Let's do the energy clearing. Let's get the goals and intentions and things down now so that when that receptive energy comes in April, May, and June, we are ready for it. We are ready to receive. So that may even mean that things that you want to, because I don't want to go into this whole teaching because I don't have all of the download for it. But as we are moving more in a spiral rhythm of the planet now, and I've been guided to draw like lots of spiral rhythms. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even notice that. Anyway, okay, hold on. Spiral rhythms. Time is speeding up, especially if you are spending most of your days in higher consciousness, in the multidimensional realms outside of the 3D, then time just goes super fast. Now you can work with like Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron, and your own angels to help you manage your priorities, speed time up, slow time down, or rearrange things in your day to get things accomplished. But time is just moving so fast that things that you are saying that you want to manifest now, and that we do the energy work around to get your energy all cleared from everything prior to 2023, when we work on that some of those things will already start to manifest during this April, May, and June time frame. All right. So it's funny that we talked about spirals. We're going into July, August, and September. And the song is As One by Spiral Rhythm. And to me, again, it's a song of oneness. I couldn't find the lyrics anywhere. It is on YouTube. I found it on YouTube Music, and I think you can find the song elsewhere. But it's a song about the elements, like earth I am, fire I am, spirit I am, air and water, whatever I am. It just kind of keeps going on like that in a spherical rhythm. It's weird. So spirals, rhythms, unity consciousness, divine oneness. In order to experience some of these, you need to have a spiritual practice, like a daily meditation practice, some sort of practice where you're able to raise your consciousness above up into your higher self and be able to stay there for like, we're not talking about hours, we're talking about like 5 minutes, like max. So doing some sort of meditation to get you out of your everyday, up into your higher self, and to sit in stillness and quietness. That's what works for me. But they're saying you may have another way that works for you. That could be more rhythmic, like cycling or running or walking or hiking, and obviously getting out in nature. It are all ways that you can connect. So whatever connection with spirit works best for you, then you're encouraged to do that as much as possible, but at least every day. So let's get a card for July, August, and September, because that's very high level. Spirals and rhythms and oneness and love and peace. And anything else for those? And I've noticed we're getting 2 cards for each of the quarters. So we're already at, we got 1 card for the overarching, but for each quarter so far, 2 cards and have come out together, and here they are again. And they all have like very similar colors. I'm going to fan them out here for you that are watching. So the clarifying cards we got for July, August, and September are love, a Pleiadian pick-me-up. So let's take a deep breath. This is the card. Take a deep breath. Now breathe in love and breathe out love and repeat 3 times. So breathe in love. Breathe out love. Breathe in love. Breathe out love. Getting lightheaded. Breathe in love. And breathe out love. Wow, and it's love twice because we got the love not fairy along with that, which is romance is headed your way. Now, this could be literal romance, or it could be just more love in your life, things you love to do. Sometimes when I get this card, it means I'm going to watch it means like romancing yourself. Like I'll watch they're saying Romancing the Stone. That's a cute movie. But gosh, I got so lightheaded for July, August, and September. I feel so dizzy. It's grounding in. So I think with Lionsgate, because Lionsgate does happen during this time frame, that there's going to be even higher levels of crown opening and energy coming through, because I just feel like my head is super up in the clouds. So there's going to need to be some grounding that's done. And maybe that's the way, is through making sure that you're breathing, grounding yourself, pulling all those good energies down in through your etheric bodies and radiating them out to the planet, yes, they're saying that's, yes, I'm right, to the planet, to humanity, to all the kingdoms, like the elemental kingdom, the angelic kingdom, the human kingdom. Spreading that light like transformers that you are, right? I always say that we're like the light bright pegs in that game Light Bright, where everybody's kind of put on the planet in different places based on your soul signature, so you can assimilate and send that light out into the grids and into kind of the world at large. But sometimes when I get this card, romance is headed your way. It could literally mean romance. It could be more self-love and self-care. It could be doing something fun in the self-love department, like watching a romance, rom-com or something like that. That's kind of fun, just to help ground in those energies. So all the cards, maybe it's just this deck that I made. Why does it fan out all these cards? They're all pink and yellows and golds. I used to try to fan them out. They're all pinks, yellows, and golds. Wow. Even the Enlightened Rescue Cat is a gold card. So you have 1 more quarter to go, and then I'm going to send you on your way. And the next time I see you, we're going to do the 2023 energy clearing, ramping up kind of session. Okay, so the last quarter we have is October, November, and December. And the song we got was City of the Angels by Journey. And let's just look at the key lyrics there. Walking and talking and laughing about, dreaming that things that you want will work out. People in places which you want to be. I'm lost in the city. Who's got the key? City of the angels, I hear you calling me. I've got this feeling that things will work out. I've got this feeling, and there ain't no doubt. I'm holding on, hoping to find life in this city can bring peace of mind. I'm going home, home. I'm going home. I'm leaving. I'm going home. I'm leaving. City of the angels, I hear you calling me. So they're saying for some of you that literally this is being called towards the City of the Angels, which for this song is, did they write it about, I think they're from San Francisco. So I think they wrote it about San Francisco, California. But yes, that whole line up the west coast from Hawaii all the way up to Alaska is a Lemurian, obviously huge Lemurian grid line. Mount Shasta, the Golden Gate Bridge. There's some sacred sites and portals. And some of you are going to be called to either move to the West Coast, to visit the West Coast and do some grid work, or to etherically send yourself to the West Coast at certain dates and times to be an anchor point of light. So it looks like during this last quarter, October, November, and December, we're going to be working heavily on amping up the frequencies of that Lemurian grid line from the Hawaiian Islands all the way up into the Alaskas. So let's get a card to go with that. So that sounds like a lot of light work happening. Anything else you want to say about October, November, and December? I got one card, but I see one. This one really wants to come out. All right. Hope. The angel of hope. When you have hope, anything is possible. And child's play. Time for a self-heal retreat. So I see that here. I get multiple messages for this one. Again, a lot of you have been hoping or dreaming or wanting to move to the West Coast. And this is like, when you have hope, anything is possible. The faith the size of a mustard seed. It may be that you go there on vacation as part of like a self-healing retreat. So the cards are just clarifying already. I do want to get one more card. I want to get a clarifying card for the end of the year. What else do we want to go along with this self-healing hope? Oh, it's lots of cards. So I feel like by the October, November, and December, there's so much work we've done that it's going to be a little bit of a slower time to take some time off, time to take a road trip, time to take a vacation, time to take a time out, which obviously the solstice, the winter solstice, and the holidays are all part of that time frame. But the clarifiers I got were 4 cards that came out. The first one is let me try to describe it if you're listening to this. It's like a foggy scene. It's like a road, and on either end of the road, it says dead end, and it goes towards a foggy mountain, like a mountainside with like all this fog. And whenever I get this card, it's the you can't see everything right now card. You have to just trust and feel your way ahead kind of card. The card that came out with that is relief is being offered. Do you accept it? This is one of my favorite cards of this deck because all you have to say is, yes, I accept it, and then allow your guides and the angels to step forward and help you with your own life's divine plan. Help you kind of feel your way through the foggy mountainside. It doesn't mean it's a dead end in terms of like there's nothing happening in the future. It just means you're not being able to see what's ahead. Along with that came out, get over it. which always seems to come out with this dead end card. And that is just kind of like, you have to go, oh my God, I just don't even know if I want to go here. These are the messages that are hard to hear. You may be asked to take on a role of responsibility as part of your Bringers to the Light work that maybe you weren't anticipating. And it's a time for like a radical acceptance. Like, you're just going to have to get over it because it's part of your soul plan, or it's part of something that you're being asked to do as part of your Bringer to the Light work. And yeah, it may be something that you have some resistance to at first, but you're being asked to go with the flow, which is funny because the fourth card that came out is you're creating your own reality right now. Watch out. And so I feel with that, it's kind of like, it's what you make it. So you can't see everything, but the things that, yeah, it's like the things that you do have control over are the things that you need to be focused on. So there's parts of your divine plan that you don't have access to. You don't get to see everything in advance. Part of it is for a surprise, and part of it, I just think it's like, sometimes if you could see the things, you'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. It's like sometimes how I feel. But you do have control over many things in your life. So there's things, part of your soul blueprint, that you don't have control over. Your spirit moves you around and takes you to places and spaces that sometimes you weren't anticipating. Now, it's all for the highest and best good. So it's a mindset in terms of how you look at those things, and the perspective, and the words that you use to describe your situation. But within all of that, there's things that you do have control over. You have control over all the things we just talked about. How you plan your day, the things that you want to manifest in terms of the list that you're making, the actions that you take towards those things. You have control over your demeanor, the way you show up in the world, the energy that you choose to be in, the things that you do on a daily basis within and around yourself. Like, you have control over your own entity, your own self, and who you keep in your reality, all of that. But the other things that are part of your divine plan, maybe you're not aware of yet. You just kind of have to trust and hope for the highest and best good of all. Things are going to turn out just fine. So this isn't a message to like scare anybody. It's just that, know that things on your path are hidden from you for a reason, and you can't always see far in advance what those things are. So the takeaway from that is to plan accordingly, have a backup plan in place. Don't attach yourself too much to outcomes, because you only get disappointed that way. And stay in control of the things that you can be in control of, which is yourself, your life force, your energy, and how you show up in the world. I'm looking over here over past the camera, because there's a very interesting shadow on the wall. It kind of looks like a little star being and is it a tetrahedron? Like two, I don't know my sacred geometries, like a triangle and another triangle with a line down the middle. So like a square on its side with a line down the middle. And this little being is kind of like looking at them. So that may mean something. It's like creational energy. So when I see stuff like that, when I see sacred geometry and I see a little being looking over things, that's kind of like just exactly what we're talking about. Like the Elohim are the angels of creation, angels of sacred geometry and creational energy. And I think that a lot of things are just being worked on behind the scenes that you don't have access right now to see that. And you just have to make peace with that, is basically the message. All right, so let's see, because this is a pretty long video. If there's anything else we want to talk about right now for these energies. All right, now, so they're saying go back, review that, maybe make a list for yourself or a mind map for yourself or a plan for yourself in some overarching categories of your life, because this is what we're going to work on in the next session. So maybe like relationships, your personal well-being, your spiritual growth. I'm just throwing some out there. Your career or your work in the world, like, and that could be different than your service work. So for some of you, like, your service work and your actual what you do to make a living are the combined and are the same thing. But for others of you, there could be a little bit of separation there. So your bringers of the light work could be slightly different than your day, quote unquote, day job. And for some of you, they're the same thing. For some of you, your service work in the world is that and more. And I would also, like, what did we say? And finances would be another one. Let's spend some time working with finances in that next session. And I think that is all we have for now. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. When we come back again, we want to come back with the energy clearing. So I'm going to send out a post in advance of what you need to have with you when you come to that energy clearing session. All right, you guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me here, and we will see you all again